I hope this is what I think it is. I wonder what it could be. Let's find out. That's exactly what I was waiting for. This is professional film for a film camera. I have never dealt with film cameras before, but I ordered this because I got one of these. My daughter gave me this Canon AE-1 Program film camera. I'm going to take you through my journey. We're going to dive in and I'm going to show you what I've learned. Why would you want to get into film photography? Well, that's kind of hard to explain. I'll put some images up right now so you can see for yourself. The best way I can put it is film photography gives this old school nostalgic feeling. The photos are often a bit overexposed. They kind of give this pastel or faded look to it. And it's actually quite nice. I'll give you a very basic overview of the functions on this. But this is the kit lens that comes with the Canon AE-1 program. And right here is going to be where you change your focus manually. It's a completely manual lens. It's 50 millimeters, or nifty 50. And this ring right here is going to be where you change your aperture. So it can get down to 1.8, which is very nice, meaning that aperture or that opening for the light to enter the camera will be very wide. So this will be quite nice for night photography or really blurring that background. So in order to take it off, you'll just press this button in and twist, and it comes off right there. And they have these lens lineups are the Canon FD lenses. And the way that you attach that, you're just going to line up those two red dots right here and then twist, and you're good to go. Right here is where you'll put in the battery. It comes out right just like that. And you can get these at any CVS, Walgreens, Walmart, but the battery will pop in right there. There is this little handle right here, but it screws in right there and it creates a little grip. Right here is how you change the ISO. You will change the ISO on your camera to match the film that you put inside. In my particular case, I am going to use a different number and I'll explain why later. Right here is going to be the shutter speed. We could be all the way down to bulb, and then it'll go all the way up to 1000. You can put the dial in the program, and then on the lens, change this to A. Just line up A with this line and the red dot, and this will put the camera into fully automatic mode. And that might be great for you if you're just starting out and you don't really want to think about your settings too much and just focus on getting the shot. If you do want some more manual control, what you can do is set this dial to whatever shutter speed that you want. Leave the dial on the lens to A. This will be shutter priority. So you're telling the camera what shutter speed to use, and the camera will choose the correct aperture in order to expose correctly for the scene. And then of course you can be in fully manual mode as well. So these modes right here, A is going to be on, so you're going to need to be switched into the A position in order to click the shutter. L is going to be lock, so if you're just throwing the camera into your purse or your bag, then you're going to want to put it on there so you don't so the camera doesn't accidentally trigger. And then S is going to be a timer. Press the shutter button, run in front of the camera, and then after 10 seconds, it'll take a shot. This button right here, if you hear that, you know it's working correctly. And then this little window right here, showing the S every time that you take a shot and advance the film, it will show you which picture that you're on. As I stated, normally you would set your ISO on the camera according to the ISO of your film. So we're 400. So normally I would set this dial to 400, and the way you would do that is you would press here and you'd use this little knob to set accordingly. But in my particular case, I'm gonna leave it on 200. And the reason for this is I've learned that it's actually best to overexpose your film. The way we're overexposing our film is we're telling the camera that we have 200 ISO film in the camera when it's actually 400. My testing is going to be actually by overexposing this film, and we're gonna see what the results are like. When we actually get out in the field, I'll go through my process of testing this out. And that, my friends, is the basic overview of a Canon AE-1 program. Let's actually get out into the real world environment and take some test shots and see what the results are.
Good morning, everybody. So I'm out here in this beautiful park. I have the film camera in which I loaded film earlier before, and also have this, just picked this up in the mail. This is a 28mm lens, in addition to the 50mm that I already had that came with the camera. So the technique that we're going to use in order to estimate the exposure settings we need to set in camera, it's a technique called Sunny 16. We'll set the camera speed to 200 because we're overexposing by one stop, and the fact that we used 400 film speed camera. We'll set our shutter speed to 250 on the camera because that's what's closest to 200 ISO. And then from there, our aperture is just going to be depending on what the light situation is. What Sunny 16 says is if your lighting situation is completely clear with no clouds in the sky, we'll set the aperture to 16. If there is some clouds in the sky, but it is still quite sunny, then we'll set the aperture to 11. If it is fairly cloudy outside, but not completely overcast, then we'll set the aperture to 8. And finally, if it is overcast, or if it's sunny outside and if you are in outdoor shade, then we'll set the aperture to 5.6. Other than that, anything lower than 5.6, you're really going to want to use a light meter, and that's going to be beyond the scope of this video. So I know that's quite a bit of situations to remember in order to set your aperture settings. However, I'll go ahead and put up on the screen all those suggestions depending on your lighting situation. You can screen grab it and then put it on your phone, take it out with you. So when you are out in the field, you can just refer to it whenever you need a friendly reminder. But for now, I'm just gonna go ahead and get to snapping some film photos and see what we come up with. I think I found a composition that I like. Here's the composition right here. The only issue with this is it'd be so much better if there was an actual person sitting on the bench. I'll go ahead and place myself in the bench. I'll have to place the film camera into a time setting to where it'll take a photo after 10 seconds of hitting the shutter button. Because we do have sunlight, there is quite a bit of clouds and we are in outdoor shade. I'm going to take a couple test shots, but first I'm going to set the aperture at 5.6. I'll take the photo and we'll go from there. So I got the first test shot. That was at aperture 5.6. Just in case I did accidentally underexpose my photo, I'm also gonna take another one. I'll take another one at aperture 4 just to ensure that I got the shot. So as you can see, it's a bit of an experiment. I would recommend whenever you're taking a photo, do make sure that you take a couple at different aperture settings just to ensure that you got the shot. It's one of the enjoyable things about film photography, the fact that you do have to wait in order to see how your photos turned out. We're so used to digital cameras being able to instantly review our photos to see the results. The whole fact of waiting for your photos to be developed from the lab definitely builds a lot of anticipation. It's an enjoyable part of the process of film photography. You are limited to a set number of exposures or photos with each roll. The rolls that I have limited to 36, whereas photos on a memory card inside of a digital camera, you can put thousands of photos. So it does force you to really think about each shot that you're taking and have a lot more intent and purpose into each photo that you're about ready to capture. So I found another composition I think I like. It is of the bench and I will be sitting on it, but this time we're going to be shooting directly into the sun, which complicates the situation a little bit. What I'm going to do is set the aperture directly at 16 and hopefully we get a good result. All right guys, so that's gonna be a wrap. I would say that that was a successful shoot. Now I'm gonna pack up my stuff, head back to the office, and I'll show you later on how I actually go about preparing the film and sending it off to the labs in order to be developed. So let's get on to that. First, we have to get the film out of the camera. There's this little button on the bottom here. We'll just simply press that in. On the top of the film camera, we're going to pull out this little lever right here. You can actually see on the little handle the direction in which you're supposed to spin the film. We gotta wind all that film into the little canister. We'll just follow the arrow and we'll go ahead and roll our film. Keep going until you hear it click and then you feel the tension release a little bit. That'll be your indication that all the film is in fact inside the canister. You'll pull up to release the door and then this comes out and there you go. We'll take our replacement cartridge here, put that off to the side for now, and then what I'm going to do, take out the old film. As you can see here, there's actually a section that we can write on the notes. Serve two purposes. This will let me know that this particular roll of film has been used so I don't accidentally use it again. And then the second one is because we're going to let the developers know what we set the ISO speed on the camera to. Stick that into the canister and that is ready to be sent off to the lab for processing. Now, as far as inserting a new roll of film into the camera, we're going to take this roll of film, just very carefully insert there into the slot, and then we're going to pull this film across. There is some slits right here and we want to insert the film into those slits. And if it's not in the perfect position in order to do that, you can slightly roll those slits forward. And then you want to line the holes of the film with these gears. Once it's in place, we're going to want to advance this film so it actually gets stuck in the gears. And then once you see the end of the film, as shown here, you know that you're good to go. So we'll go ahead and close this up to lock the film into place. Take a couple test shots to ensure that everything is advancing and working as intended. And you're good to go.
All right, what's up guys? So to round off this journey of film photography, I've decided to go ahead and get some prints sent in from the lab. So we're gonna have a nice little surprise for my wife and we're gonna see what her reaction are to these prints. Let's go ahead and open this up and see what's inside. So I certainly wouldn't recommend to get all of your scans printed, but I would simply choose your absolute favorite ones. It kind of brings back that tangible aspect of photography, actually being able to print something and feel it and actually see it up on your wall. I think in this day and age, we've kind of gotten away from that with digital photography, but this kind of brings back those memories. This one I completely underexposed so miserably, but I was actually quite surprised how much I was able to pull out of this photograph, even with it being shot as a JPEG and not having an option for RAW. but these certainly turned out a lot nicer than I thought. These are beautiful. Absolutely love these white borders. It definitely gives it that old school vibe. Oh, my wife is gonna love this. Okay, I think those turned out absolutely incredible. Check out the Darkroom Lab if you're trying to get your film photography scans printed. Let's go ahead and frame up these photos and then see what my wife's reaction is to these. Let's see what it looks like. Look at that. Beautiful. All right, we're gonna go grab the wife and show her right now. Honey, come, I have a surprise for you.
What?
Come. But you need to close your eyes. All right?
What?
All right, close your eyes and walk towards me.
Oh, I can see. You close.
Just listen to my voice. Don't open. Not yet, not yet, not yet.
I'm dizzy already.
I'm gonna count down from 5. All right? And then look. 5,
so weird.
4, 3, 2, 1, and look.
Oh, for the picture? Oh my goodness. When did you do that? When did you do that? Oh,
Right now.
yeah. Aw, that's cute. I really like that. Thank you, love.
Mm-hmm.
Yay. Thank you. I love you, love.
I love you.
I love you.
Which one your favorite? Huh?
My favorite? Everything.
Everything?
My favorite was my baby one.
In the middle?
Yeah.
So that's going to wrap up this video today. And this is going to complete my film journey for now. I certainly learned a lot through this process, and I hope that you have too. If you got anything useful out of it, please consider liking and subscribing. I'll be posting a lot more content here in the future on taking photos and videography and everything related to that. So until next time, take care. Have a good one.